Welcome to Season 2 of Frontline Fridays, brought to you by YOOBIC, the AI-powered platform that helps retail and hospitality leaders connect, train, and empower their teams. I'm your host, Thurston, and this season, we're diving into what it really takes to lead on the front lines of retail and hospitality. Together, we'll explore the biggest shifts shaping frontline work and how smart leaders are navigating them to drive results where it matters most. Each episode, you'll hear from top executives, industry experts, and powerhouse operators who will share practical tactics you can put to work immediately. Today's conversation explores one of the most important shifts unfolding in retail right now, how AI is transforming frontline execution, not in theory, but in the real daily decisions happening inside stores. To dig into that shift, we're joined by someone with a uniquely front row point of view, Fabrice Haiat, co-founder and CEO of YOOBIC. YOOBIC is the presenter of this show, and they usually prefer their spotlight in the audience. But this moment in frontline AI called for the perspective of someone shaping it at a global scale. It felt like the right moment to bring his perspective into this conversation. Fabrice grew up around retail, listening to store stories around the family dinner table long before he started building technology for the industry. After beginning his career at McKinsey and founding a successful SaaS company, he returned to a problem he'd seen since childhood. Frontline teams carry enormous responsibility with too little digital support. That question, what would happen if we truly empowered the front line, eventually led to the creation of YOOBIC. Over the last decade, Fabrice has become one of the most forward-thinking voices in frontline AI, experimenting early, using AI as both a sparring partner and a leadership tool, and helping retailers understand what this next era of decision-making will require. Today, he takes us inside that journey and into the mindset every retail leader needs as AI becomes part of the daily rhythm of store life. So let's jump in. Fabrice, welcome to Frontline Fridays. It's really an honor to have you on the show. I have kind of a special place in my heart for you and for YOOBIC, not just because of Frontline Fridays, but when I wrote Retail Pride and was published, you were one of the first companies that said, we'd love to help you. And the first thing we did together was a webinar where YOOBIC gave away copies of Retail Pride. It was very early in its release, and the relationship continued to grow, and you were a major sponsor of my Retail in America tour. And now we're in 2 seasons of Frontline Fridays with you. So for me, this is a huge just thank you for your support, because everything I do is about the front line, and YOOBIC and you have been there side by side with me the entire way. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I think we're sharing the same passion about frontline.
Yes.
So being here with you today is amazing.
Thank you. So I, in the intro, said you grew up in a retail family. And I wanted to just learn more about that, because it says a lot about a technology founder and CEO who actually came from the industry. So give me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I grew up in a family of fashion retailers in France. Dinners, lunch conversation were all about what was happening in the store. I heard story about the store manager quitting just right before Christmas, promotion. It was tough. Yeah. And this is an industry where the front line is delivering the service to the customer. And most of retailers have underinvested in terms of solution technology to make their life easier. Yeah. So when I graduated, I started as a consultant at McKinsey for years. And I've always worked at the intersection of operational effectiveness and people technology. So applying that to retail seems pretty natural for me.
Yeah. And give us, just for those that don't know the platform or haven't used it, what is the core foundation of YOOBIC?
So the ambition for the platform is to unlock human potential. We're seeing so many talented people working in the store, but not having the right tool to perform at their best that we were a little bit frustrated here. So we wanted to build a platform that's not only enable them to communicate, to work, but also to learn so that they can build a career path inside their retail experience.
Yeah. And I agree with you that the investment in technology has been, I think, lacking for decades. As the investment in things like e-commerce and digital commerce grew, stores didn't always get that same level of investment, even though the bulk of the revenue, as we know, was coming from stores.
Yeah, so something that's people sometimes forgot is that 90% of the revenue is coming from the store, and a big part of the margin and the profitability is driven by the store with the employee in the store delivering this customer experience.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the customer experience through the lens of the employee experience. We have proof with data now that if you deliver a good employee experience, you will have a fantastic customer experience.
Yeah. And it shows because of the brands that you've been able to attract as a technology vendor, and not only just in the US, but you're a global brand. So like, give us a little more insight. It's also hospitality. So give me some more about just the scale of the last decade.
So we started YOOBIC 12 years ago now, and it's been an amazing journey. We are operating literally across the globe, from the US to Asia and Europe. We're working with more than 350 retailers, from fashion, luxury, grocery, convenience store, QSR, and a hotel as well. And I think what we are saying is that they're all facing the same challenge. Something important to remember is in retail, employee turnover is above 60 to 70%.
Right.
In QSR, it's even worse. It's more than 100% of employee turnover. So imagine you have to drive a business. You need to ensure consistency of the customer experience with this level of turnover. So we realize that technology in the hands of this frontline employee can make magic.
Yeah. And what is, I guess, similar and what's different about other parts of the world? I'm always curious because different parts of the world think about careers of the frontline differently. And through this, having a platform that serves all kinds of different industries in all different countries, what's the same and what's different?
So I would say that what the same is that retail is all about detail. And if you don't put enough attention to detail, the execution machine breaks very quickly. What we are fixing is the gap between strategy and execution. You can't imagine how many retailers are invested millions into new initiative. When we started, we were working with a customer. He was launching a 50 million initiative for customer loyalty program. And the program completely failed, not because of data science, not because of marketing. It failed because only half of the employees were able to explain properly the program to the customer. Why? Because they have no time to read the 40-page document explaining this program. So this is where mobile technology and AI, and I love to share a little bit more about what we're seeing with AI, is going to be a massive game changer for the frontline.
So growing up in retail, you've discovered the challenges, you've started to build a company, and then all of a sudden you have this moment of like, we're really onto something here. And so when was that and what happened?
So I started shadowing a store manager for 3 weeks. Trying to understand his day-to-day. The guy was receiving 200 emails a day, which was crazy. Even the headquarters was sending him fax. Can you imagine that? So I took the idea to my brothers. I didn't mention, but we've started the company with my 2 brothers. And we built an MVP in about 3 months. We tested it in 10 stores for a 2-month period. After just the first week, the store manager called me and wanted to deploy the solution in his 200 store immediately. So in the beginning, you never know if it's really going to work or not. But we were in front of customer asking for it. So the early validation showed us that we were on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Where's that brand today?
So they're still using, 12 years later, they're still using the platform every day for their employee, which is, for me, the best reward ever.
Right. Those early adopters, maybe, people who really understood your vision and you understood their need. So you're really solving the core foundation of the problem.
Yeah, for me, it's super important that to give back to people who have trusted us at the very beginning of the company.
Yeah, incredible. So let's jump into AI, which is kind of why we're here, talking about current business, but also thinking about the future. NRF is coming up. You and I are sitting down here in December. NRF is on everyone's mind. We know NRF is going to be the AI trade show of all time. And so, and you seem to have a reputation as someone who was an early adopter, who loved AI from the beginning, well before the rest of us, downloaded ChatGPT. Like you were in it. So where did that come from, and how did that start?
I've always been an early adopter. I'm buying every month a gadget that I'm going to use just for a few days maybe, but I love doing that. I still remember when I bought my first Palm Pilot years ago. Most gadgets become obsolete very quickly, but some technology change everything immediately. GPS, for example, is a great example. Once you've used it, you will never go back to paper maps.
Yeah.
I think AI feels exactly the same. Once you use it, it can unlock a fantastic potential in your work and in your life. So for me, it's mind-blowing.
And so when you think about how it's changing every industry, retail being a massive, one of the most important private sector businesses in the world. But here you are talking about the medical industry, finance, tech, everything is being impacted. But I do believe a lot of the conversations people are still thinking about it, about dreaming about it, or maybe the theory of it or how they can execute on it, which is where I think NRF is going to shift. I think we have to talk about execution.
Yeah,
and where do you start?
So we've seen a lot of retailers in 2025 launching pilot, test, proof of concepts. I think 2026 is going to be the year of scaling those initiatives.
I agree.
And if you think about it, AI is going to be used by thousands and thousands of people. That's what makes me super excited, is AI at scale for retail, for the frontline, which is probably the first time that you're going to have 10,000 people having their personal agents, right, giving them recommendation, giving them ideas of how they could perform better. And that's unseen. And I think that's what's going to happen in 2026.
I agree. And for those that feel intimidated by that idea, still maybe don't understand agents, don't understand where this is kind of moving, because it's moving very quickly. So I also understand when I speak with other executives, I understand their fear of making a decision because things move so quickly. And so what should someone start today? If you're unsure where to begin, what do you do?
So let me give you my perspective on how I'm using AI, okay, which I think could be So I've been practicing martial art and boxing for 37 years now.
Wow.
So there are two roles that are essential when you train: your coach and your sparring partner. Your sparring partner helps you practice. Your coach gives you an external eye on what's happening. And AI can do both. Few years ago, I wanted to improve our customer service.
Okay.
I fed AI with our figures, our performance, our organization. And instead of texting AI, I decided to have a conversation with AI.
Okay.
So I talked to the AI. I asked he or her to behave as a McKinsey partner to challenge my ideas. I can guarantee you that the quality of the discussion was another level. So using it as a sparring partner for day-to-day challenge that you're facing, I think is a very good start to understand the capability behind the scene.
And what about the coach side of that? Then, for martial arts, who's the coach in this scenario?
So the AI is the coach.
Yeah.
The AI will give every store employee a recommendation about how to maximize sales, how to fix issues immediately at its fingertip and in the context. The power of AI is customization at scale. The ability to give each and every store associate recommendations that are customized to their store, to your weakness and your strengths, to yourself, so that you can perform at your best every day in the store. Yeah. That's what's different with AI. Personalization at scale.
Completely agree with you. And it's interesting because that's how training has to develop. So you think a lot about multi-generational workforces, tenure within the companies. For all the decades that I was running stores, it was very much one size fits all. There was no version of, well, if I've been here 5 years, I don't need the same training as a new hire. And what you're describing is training and communication that's customized for you based on who you are, your tenure, your skill set, how you like to learn, and maybe coaching you along the way based on performance.
Absolutely. The same goes with task. The task in a store will not have the same impact in another store depending on your context. So being able to provide prioritization for the store manager to tell him, look, those are the top 5 things that you need to do today to improve your performance is a game changer.
I think often the conversation that happens is what's the ROI on the investment? And why do I want to spend money on new AI technologies? And something that has become very clear is that investment in AI in the front line has a very quick ROI on. And I think philosophically, I understand that because if you put it in the hands of 80% of your workforce for any given company, you're going to see the return that much faster. And so what's the data showing you and why is that important?
AI is probably the fastest ROI ever for Frontline because of the compounded effects. Imagine you can improve every Frontline employee performance by 1%, just 1%. But doing that with thousands and thousands of employees make a huge difference at the end of the day. Yeah. So that's the power of AI, being able to be in the pocket as a personal assistant and analyst for each and every employee and give them recommendation at scale is unseen in terms of impact. Wow. We've been deploying the solution for several years with a mix of technology. It's not only what we call LLM that everyone now knows through OpenAI or ChatGPT, but it's also more deep AI technology like pattern recognition, being able to look into the data, to identify patterns, to create dynamic cluster so that you will identify outliers and give specific task and recommendation at store level. That's what makes a huge difference. Yeah. And translating those recommendations into something that is very simple. Right. We don't believe that a store manager should have to look at 10 dashboards a day. It's not possible. The store is a war zone where you need to be focused and you need to be able to deliver the service to the customer. That's what matters.
Yeah. Fabrice, one thing that's always been true about retail is that it's a human first business, always. Of course, great product, great real estate, merchandising, ops, the list goes on, but it's a human-centric, people-first business always. I know that from my own career of decades running stores. It's why I love this business because it's always been about people. But what you're describing is actually technology's positive impact on the employee experience and people and their life outside of work. So how do you see that?
What we've seen in the deployment we've delivered is that AI elevates frontline work. It can dramatically improve employee retention because when low-level tasks disappear, teams spend more time on high-impact moments, service, selling, problem solving. So the work become much more meaningful. And that's how we retain people. People will seek out career in retail because they will have an opportunity to do meaningful job, to build a career, to progress in the organization. Yeah. And this is where AI has the power to save many retailers, because retention is so much impacting the performance of retail that if you can use AI as a tool to build career progression for your team, they will stick with you. The loyalty, employee loyalty can definitely increase through the use of AI.
Yes, no question about it. And the interesting part is that the learning that happens at work, you take that home. And you continue to learn, you continue to grow, and there's this merge of technology, personal, professional, career growth, because things like, things that get hung up, some of those kind of tasks that you describe, could be around writing reviews, performance reviews, could be operations efficiencies, things that now can just be done very quickly in a matter of minutes. And that you take that home and say, well, how can I be more efficient at home? And that's what I love about what you're describing.
If you feel good in your job, your personal life is positively impacted. Yeah. But if you spend your day fixing micro-tasking and fixing issues all day, every day, you're going to get back home exhausted, and your personal life is also going to be impacted. Right. So if we can enable people to truly deliver their full potential at work and feel good about what they're doing, this will have an impact on their personal life. And that's why I feel is super motivating for us.
Yes, absolutely. And the customer expectations are changing too. So not only are you learning at work, at home, now when you shop, you're also expecting something different.
Customers are super demanding.
Yes.
And
they always have been, by the way, but now it's worse.
Yes, worse. Yeah. And every touch point with the brand is now essential. One bad experience with one touch point that is disappointing and brand loyalty has disappeared, they will switch to another brand. So it means that every moment in a store can make or break this relationship with the customer.
Absolutely. And it's become an even more important channel of customer acquisition. So as acquisition in e-commerce has become harder and more expensive, part of the conversation we were having earlier around stores and brands understanding the need for a larger fleet is customer acquisition. But that only works when you've converted, number one, you've acquired and converted, and they had a good experience. So like we could go in circles all day, but the core of that is that the employee experience and their ability to share things about the brand in an efficient way in a highly connective environment is about customer acquisition.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And AI is the magic trick, I think, for people retention and people empowerment. Yeah. That's what's going to make the employee experience so much better. It's going to change the dynamic.
What are you already hearing from your customers? What are the results you're already receiving?
So we are already seeing massive impact on our customer business through the use of AI, whether around improvement of speed of action, improvement in terms of sales, improvement in terms of employee knowledge and ability to deliver a consistent experience. Mm-hmm. Every part of the customer journey is completely enhanced through AI. And this is happening now, not tomorrow. Yeah. This is happening now in thousands and thousands stores with 10,000 of employees every day. Yeah. So that's what's available now. And I believe that now is the right moment to start this journey.
Yes. And when customers then have kind of a taste or they've seen the results of what happens, I'm imagining they come back to you and say, Fabrice.
They're asking for more.
They want more.
They want more. Yeah. There is not a single situation where once you've proven the impact of AI, people are not coming with a bunch of new ideas to double down on what AI can deliver. So that's what is super exciting. Yeah. In the past, sometimes retailer was a little bit like slowing down those type of initiatives. But nowadays, when they've seen the impact, they want to do more and quicker.
And quicker, and maybe then deploy it into other parts of the company. So planning, distribution centers, planning and allocation. But if you start with that quick ROI in stores, you say, wow, how else could I make a difference here?
Distribution center is the next wave of deployment, definitely.
I think so too.
Because the level of efficiency needed in the distribution center requires to have the right tool to do the sync right the first time.
Yes.
And that's what distribution center is all about, efficiency, and AI is super efficient there.
Well, it's efficiency in distribution centers, but it's efficiency in planning and allocation, which is where I think, again, we can go in circles, but AI can help you allocate the exact correct assortment for that particular store, highly customized, so which drives traffic. I remember, when like Nike Local was such a moment in time of like this. These are the most purchased products of the customers in a 10-mile radius of the store. I remember there was one on Melrose in LA. There's one in Miami today. And, I was never super thrilled with the assortment. It was a lot of black sweatpants and like basic sneakers. But today you could say, we're going to give you an assortment that's exactly right for you and your customer that doesn't require a larger planning and allocation team. It requires AI. And that will only increase business and margin at the store level, improve every aspect then of a need like YOOBIC to have all that information right in the palm of every employee's hands.
Visual merchandising is going to be massively impacted. If you have used Nano Banana in your personal life, you see the potential of such technology.
Yeah.
Visual merchandising is something that's going to be revolutionized with AI.
Right. But it has to. If the assortment changes by store, visual merchandising has to change by store. All of it goes together. Yeah. And this is what gets me excited, again, about the future of brick and mortar.
Each store will have his own visual merchandising based on the context of the store, his past performance, also the area where the store is, and that's going to be specific to each store based on what they need to deliver.
Right, and that's what YOOBIC can deliver. Right?
Yeah, that's the core of making sure every store have information that is relevant to its own context.
So let's talk about the industry as it evolves into mergers and acquisitions and this kind of evolution, because the number of new technology platforms that are being developed is pretty extensive. And so you've just recently made an acquisition. So tell us about that and what it is.
Well, our ambition is to be the first, the main solution that a store associate open in the morning to do their job. So we want to aggregate under the YOOBIC platform everything that are the touch points of the employee with his job on a daily basis. Yeah. We decided to acquire a new company, an AI company, to speed up the capabilities of the solution and to supercharge the recommendation for the store. So the way we're doing that is we are feeding the platform with sales data. We are analyzing the data and identifying for each and every store the missed opportunity for the store. And that's enabled to provide recommendation not only at store level, but also at district manager level to understand what's happening and what could be the next phase of activity that will drive growth.
Incredible.
That's super exciting. This is what we call a store copilot, AI dedicated for the frontline, and it's going to be a game changer.
And the idea here of that copilot, that person next to you, that is very different than even a year ago, because I'm reflecting on NRF 2025, which is nearly a year ago, and a lot of it was, you were one of the first to market of just being able to speak, ask questions, operational challenges. How do I solve this? And 1 year later, what you're describing is an entirely new ecosystem available in the hands of store teams.
I've been in technology for many, many years. The speed of change with AI is unseen. Yeah. What was not possible just 3-6 months ago is now possible. So this is unseen in terms of capabilities, and the limit is your imagination.
Yeah.
We are very focused on serving the front line. We're spending a lot of time. I'm spending also myself. I'm still spending a day per month in a store because I want to feel the experience. I want to understand where technology can fix the gap and the friction of the store employee. And what I'm seeing right now is fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating. And do you see people making decisions fast enough? Because my personal fear, my observations is there's still a little bit of wait and see what's going to happen.
Yes, I think I've seen that in the past. We are embarking the early adopters, and the impact is so massive that I'm pretty sure that we're going to see the next wave coming very quickly.
Good. I hope so too.
It's a no-brainer for retailers.
Right.
So it's not only about technology. I think technology play a big part, but it's also how you deploy those technology. And we've been working on that for years. So we have a very structured methodology so that when we deploy AI, we know what is the KPI we want to influence. Mm-hmm. We're going to monitor the evolution of those KPIs so we can adjust the agents to get to the point where we feel secure and confident that it's going to deliver the ROI expected.
Because the timing that happens of how quickly that ROI is expected, the interesting part of exactly what you're describing, maybe you choose retention, which we spoke about earlier. Say the KPI I want to influence is retention. Maybe we go through exit surveys, like we find the reason people leave, you solve it, you deploy it with what you're describing. The ROI return on that alone of the dollar spent reported somewhere close to $10,000 or potentially more now to replace that employee. You have your money back literally in a month.
We've launched an initiative with one of our clients focused on conversion rates. In 2 months, we've been able to increase conversion rate by 22%.
Wow. Right
off the bat. Because it's a mix of employee behavior, process, knowledge, and AI here is really, really efficient when it comes to pushing those content to the right employee.
I love that you describe the complexity of retail and understand the complexity because it is highly complex. But what I love about what you're describing is you take very complex roles. So someone that is an HR manager one day and a visual manager and the training manager and the operations manager, you wear every one of those hats. Anyone listening that works in a store knows that you wear every hat of every kind of business. And the complexity of that and the lack of tools and lack of investment for the first decades of this industry, we'll just say the first 100 years, very much put it at a disadvantage. And so what I'm hearing from you is we're taking this same highly complex job, which isn't changing. The job's not less complex, but we're giving you tools and resources in order for you to feel like it's just not so overwhelming every day.
We want to make every store employee the CEO of their store. Mm-hmm. That's what the technology enables today.
Mm-hmm. And when you do that, again, we're back to ROI. A well-trained, enabled, tech-enabled, and human-centric team is how you win in this business.
We all seen a store manager underperforming, replaced by a top performer, and you see your bottom line increase by 20% right off the bat.
Right.
So if you can enable every store manager to be this top manager, you have an immediate impact.
Doing that not by changing the person, changing their tools, changing the resources and technology.
It's been a survival mode. To be a good store manager without the right tool, we haven't given them the mean to perform. And right. I think that's what I want to fix with YOOBIC.
Yeah. And I see it, because now we're in season 2 of the show. Many of the people on the show, not intentionally, have been YOOBIC customers. And I have them on the show because of their stories and their roles and the impact. But when they describe YOOBIC and the impact that it's had on their business and their team, it's always positive. And I love to hear it. And we make sure that it's not about selling YOOBIC. It's about understanding the importance of having the right tools in your pocket to do this job well.
The studies show that when people are feeling good about their job, they're feeling good outside of their job. So not only you have an impact on what they're doing when they work, you have an impact on their life. And that's really doing that with millions of people is really exciting.
Yeah. And think about QSR. Same, often first job, quick service restaurants, first job. So if I'm learning how to work, but I'm also learning technology. And you're right. Then you go back and it influences, maybe they're also in school. Same, they could be working here across the street from FIT. They're using technology to understand how to become maybe the next, this is kind of where my head goes. You're using technology for two very different purposes: how to maybe serve hamburgers faster and how to design a dress. But it's at the same time, we're using AI to help us do this.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's an exciting time in our lives. Yeah.
And pretty unique. I don't think I've seen such an opportunity in the past 20 years.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So as we think about NRF coming up right around the corner, I think it's going to be a very exciting show. People have quite a shopping list this year going in, and then a hunger to learn. And so what can people expect from YOOBIC at NRF this year?
So first, we'll be on stage,
right,
presenting our AI innovation. I can tell you that this is groundbreaking.
Mm.
On our booth, you can meet our team, and we will run a demonstration of those AI agents for the frontline during NRF.
Yeah.
And you can also go on our website to get a personalized demo with our team.
And last year, your booth was very popular. You're ride or die. And so I'm looking forward to this year.
We're doubling down on the ride or die.
But it's true. This conversation is about you have to ride or you're going to die.
You need to embrace what's happening right now.
You have to embrace.
That's a no-brainer.
You can't hide, and for a variety of reasons. And I do, we'll kind of end here because I want you to be able to challenge people about next steps. But I think a year ago, people were, I'm curious, but I'm not ready. I think 2026 NRF is about, I was curious, I've seen the results, I understand the impact, and this is not a question of whether I need this or not.
AI agents are going to become a standard for every frontline role. Yeah. If you don't have that in the pocket of your employee, you're going to be behind. Yeah. And those retail stores are operating with so thin margin that you don't have much room for mistake. So starting the journey now, identifying a clear problem that you're trying to solve, making sure your AI agent are properly set up for success is probably the recipe for having an impact for those retailers.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll wrap this up now. Any kind of advice for people that maybe have been thinking about this, want to jump in, ready to go? Like, how do you encourage them?
Lead proactively, not reactively. Mm-hmm. That's my strong advice. Treat AI as a partner that helps you stay ahead of the day. Focus on continuous progress. It's a continuous improvement program that you're launching. Yeah. Small but consistent step to get to the next level. Trust your people and empower them because they are the ones that are in your store, facing your customer, delivering the service. And yes, it's a change management initiative. Things are going to change. Maybe some jobs are going to disappear, but there is so much opportunity to build new career paths for your team that I would definitely highly recommend to invest and to do it now, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Thank you, Fabrice. It was
Thank you.
really a pleasure. I'd find you at your booth at NRF. They can meet you in person. Go to YOOBIC.com and continue to learn more. So thank you for being here. It's really an honor.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Fabrice reminds us that the real story of Frontline AI isn't the technology. It's the clarity it gives leaders to focus on what matters. When you remove friction from the day, when you help people make better decisions, faster execution lifts, teams feel more supported, and the work becomes far more human. So here's your challenge for the week. Choose one decision that slows you down, a task you overthink, a pattern you're trying to understand, or a problem you keep revisiting, and ask AI to help you break it down. Have it summarize, reframe, or simplify the options, not to replace your judgment, but to sharpen it. Because as Fabrice said, AI doesn't give you new information, it gives you new eyes. Thanks for tuning in, and a special thanks to YOOBIC, the presenter of Frontline Fridays. YOOBIC is the AI-powered platform that helps retail and hospitality leaders connect, train, and empower their teams. Ready to make your frontline your competitive advantage? Visit YOOBIC.com. That's YOOBIC.com. Until then, keep leading boldly and keep bringing clarity to the work that matters.